And I think the Joker's and Batman's motivations after this were really clear and logical, and I don't see Matthew's problems with them. Batman tries to stop the Joker as he's endangering innocent people, not just criminals. He eventually starts killing them with things like balloons full of gas, and the Joker starts killing people in revenge because he wants to get even at first, and then he starts to destroy random things and intimidate and kill innocent people because he, due to his disfigurement, believes self-preservation is pointless and allowing your emotions to lead you is fun, that destroying society is cool, similar to the Joker in The Dark Knight. He thinks that all there is to life is destruction, that it's an art, as he has gone totally insane due to his disfigurement and believes he can't live a constructive life anymore, and he wants others to feel his pain. And he wants to impress Vicky Vale because he likes her in a twisted way, yet wants to torture her because he believes torturing is an art, and he wants to impress people and convince people of the beauty of killing because he's so arrogant. He said he wanted his face on the $1 bill as he wants the attention of people by killing them. He wants to prove how much fun killing is, and he indeed wants the attention. He wants to make deadly art as he believes violence isn't all there is to life anymore. It is a logical motivation, and there are meaningful stakes, because Matthew says, really, we're just supposed to care about someone wanting more attention than Batman, but he wants more attention through killing innocent people. Yeah, that's not just being a regular attention whore, it's actually kind of dangerous. Yeah. So, they were very meaningful stakes actually. Although it isn't true you can only give in to your senseless instincts of destruction when you've lost everything, including your sense of self-preservation. You can live a healthy and safe life and still care about your own safety and have fun. Just cover up your actions better. Just make people think you are joking because you're a fun, online, quirky movie critic, and then poison them in subtle ways. Tell people you want to co-write reviews for them, and then send them AIDS in your message. Or make people get SARS by watching your video. Yeah, you can make people get SARS through video. Don't forget to watch the next part. It is a logical and understandable form of insanity. Well, that was a redundant phrase. Yeah, but although it indeed isn't a complex philosophy, it makes sense and it is smart, although rather ordinary, insanity. And the stakes are clear, the safety of innocent people who the Joker will kill and abuse. So Matthew's complaint the story will be such a mess is wrong, but he's fair pointing out the motivations aren't very deep and the stakes not that meaningful, as it is just a guy hurting innocent people because he's crazy. So it isn't as blunt as AVG and NC say, but it's good. I can understand the Joker trying to destroy the world though. I mean, they do horrible, horrible things to you. Because when I said it was porn in those institutions earlier, I lied. Yeah, they've got no online connection. So then what are you supposed to do? It's like no food. And to those saying that 20 years ago there was no internet, well, we lived in caves back then, and dying is better than living like that. But you're a child, so they won't execute you. No, 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 no. True discrimination, yes. Yes. So then the Joker uses his cards and is threatening to take over his former boss's operation, which is smart as a strong hired team could threaten them into serving him. And then he dresses up as a mime to take revenge on the police officer who betrayed him, and by killing him he solidifies his power because he takes out one of his strongest opponents. And this is smart as his appearance indeed would make it easy to dress up as a mime and you aren't often suspicious of those. For some reason. I mean, seriously, mimes, nobody's suspicious of those? I did go to mime school. That's where it all started. I hope you take a lesson from this. I really do. I could lie to you about your chances, but you have my sympathies. However, the plot is a bit unfocused, being so concerned with the Joker's takeover, while it ties little into his conflict with Batman. It just caused him to rise to power, and we see that in excessive detail, while it doesn't tie into the main plot or themes that much, because the Joker is just random, and the fact that he's random, which ties into one of the main themes, will be mostly established later on in his terrorism of innocent people. Also, Vicky Vale then follows Bruce and sees he leaves a rose at a certain street, causing her to want to know what is important about it, which is believable and clever, as seeing him lay a rose at a random street, showing great sadness over something there, is indeed very suspicious. Then the Joker poisons many products and advertises them through intimidation, causing people to be scared to use many health products, which was clever, as through poisoning health products, no one would want to use almost any health product anymore, as they would be afraid to die horribly, as it could kill them. And he had the possibility to poison the products, as he had connections in high businesses. Also, you're probably wondering why I've got this table with all these DVDs over here. Well, it is once again my way of demonstrating to you how much more behind the scenes knowledge I have, and therefore that I'm not only smarter but better than you. And you still don't seem to be getting it. So I guess that you need to be re-educated. Well, I think any socialist teacher of a university or something will do. They will be able to, through torture, which you won't even know is torture, convince you of my views. And to those of you noting that it's hypocritical, as I'm obviously right-winged, and to those of you noting I'm too one-dimensionally joking about the left wing, making it seem like propaganda, if you really want to go down this route, I'm game if you're game. He then wants to date Vicky Vale and destroys art in the museum where he invites her and kills people to impress her with his destruction, which is logical and smart, as he sees violence as beautiful and he follows his instincts of her being attractive, so he wants to date her. However, there are some plot holes, like Captain Logan points out. It makes no sense that it took Batman so long to show up to rescue her. I mean, isn't he really fast? Also, when Batman shows up, it did make sense that he came to save her. That was actually very smart, as Vicky Vale called she'd be late, as the Joker acted like he was Bruce Wayne to get it there, which made sense since she would obviously want to go out with Bruce Wayne. And it's especially also believable and smart that when she would then call Batman as Bruce Wayne, in order to alert him that she'd be late, that he would know that there was something wrong and that it was probably a trap, as he never invited her. And it's smart that she would call him that she'd be late, as she thought she was actually going out with Bruce Wayne. And since she was dating him at the time, it's certainly believable she would want to go out with him again. But then the next few plot twists that lead to a few action scenes make no sense at all. First of all, instead of disappearing through a window with Vicky, he drives off into the Batmobile. Can't he just disappear into the night? I mean, he does that all the time. Why does he now need to get into a car shit? Weird. And then he drives off into the Batmobile, and so then he gets out, and they are chased on foot, and he goes up high with the grappling hook. He goes up high into the air and holds on very high in the air, and does Vicky Vale hold onto it so she's safe, but then he falls very badly for a Batman, giving them the time to hit him unconscious. Even though he kicks up, due to the fact that he's on the ground, they can easier take him out. He can't properly break his fall in spite of a bullet-deflecting suit and being so trained in jumping and flying, and then they hit him down. Yet when Vicky Vale distracts them by taking pictures, which did make sense as she is a journalist and will be interested in Batman, he wakes up rather quickly, which made no sense as they were able to knock him unconscious, and then he takes them out. Which of course did make sense as he is a very great fighter. Batman then reveals to Vicky a combination of products of one source is deadly, and that he still has to figure out an antidote, which is believable, and it is smart as he is a good but not perfect detective, and often poison only works when mixed with multiple other substances. And so then the Joker plans to poison people by luring them to the festival by offering them $20 million, which, since people are often selfish, could lure them. You can actually get people to come to a psycho's festival who will probably kill them just by luring them with $20 million. Yes, that is actually possible. And no, that's not a joke. That is actually possible. People are that corrupt. So that was actually very sensible. A lot of people would go to a festival of a killer just so they could get a whole lot of money. So that actually made sense. It did. It's scary to think about, but it did. Yeah, I mean, it does. And then we find out the Joker killed Batman's parents, which makes him extra despicable and explains Batman's obsession with him now even more, but it's mostly only of subjective value. Batman then blows up the factory of the Joker, where his poison is created and put into the products, which is smart as it explains how he could stop the poison from being spread, and that then Batman uses his plane to take out the poison balloons with his hooks, which makes sense as it is an advanced plane. Yet, as everyone has pointed out, that he can't hit the Joker with his plane, with all those guns and missiles, makes no sense, and that he can then be shot down with one bullet, and the Joker can hit him so easily, makes no sense at all. And then the Joker wants to dance with Vicky Vale and takes her up a clock tower, well that is just time consuming and he could just do it underground, and then Batman follows him and he doesn't use his grappling hook to get up there, even though he still has it, as we see him use it later on. So that obviously made no sense. He could get up there a lot quicker with the grappling hook. And once again, it made no sense that the Joker went up there. He could just do his stuff with Vicky Vale on the ground, but they just wouldn't make for his dramatic setting now, would it? And it also makes no sense that the Joker has cards there. Well, he didn't at all know he would end up there. Those are all pretty big plot holes. And how the Joker's henchman knew he was on the tower was a plot hole also. But then Batman could defeat them. That is believable, that he could defeat all of his guards through strength, because it's logical as he is a great fighter, and it is believable, although rushed and not very built up, that now that the Joker showed he was a murderer and Batman stopped him, people would see him as a hero. So it was very good, but also very flawed last act, and the same applies to the total ending. So the plot is smart, but it does have some holes, and it is somewhat unfocused, and it is thick but not immensely thick. So it isn't nearly as bad as Confused Matthew says, but it isn't nearly as great as AVGN or the nostalgia critics say. The characters in the film are really deep, but not exceptionally. And although they have arcs, they aren't immensely fleshed out, and some of them lack in backstory, and a lot of the character development goes to the Joker. Oh, by the way, lacks a clear plan. He's just too random. Random fun, really? I mean, you should always pre-plan your fun. It makes things more focused. Just ask Palpatine. Well, till you get thrown in a shaft, of course. Bruce Wayne is caring and very internal, and can also be warm, and he's a bit secretive, and he's very self-minded, thinking he needs to do everything alone. And he's sad, and also brave, and can also be vengeful, and he's very brooding. He's very obsessed with fighting crime, although he needs to do it. And yeah, he needs to fight crime, but it becomes an obsession for him. He has to save the world, because nobody else is going to do it, but he completely loses himself in it. And he's so obsessed by it because he thinks that he needs to do it alone, that no one else can do it. And he also is so obsessed by crime because he feels as though he really truly needs to do it, as though it's his obligation. And he's very dark and gothic and distant, thinking he needs to do everything on his own. He thinks no one else can fight crime, and he's afraid no one will accept him for the real strange person he is. Don't worry, Bruce. One day you will find someone who understands you. Like I found Talia al Ghul. She's very easy to get to do what you want also. And she can also penetrate you. Oh. Ouch. And so Bruce is really being afraid of social standards, trying to keep up his rich status, wanting everybody to think he's normal, being afraid that other people will judge him and will judge him very harshly. He at first doesn't even tell Vicky Vale who he really is. And then he meets her, and he likes her, and he wants to finally get close with someone. But at first, he has a very official date with her. Yet he realizes that he isn't being himself, and becomes more open, realizing that they can have a better relationship that way. Although he remains somewhat distant, because he still lies to her, because he doesn't want to have photos taken of him, and he remains a bit distant and secretive about himself. And Alfred then confronts him on the fact that Vicky Vale is really comforting to him. And he then even saves her from the Joker.